All right, this is, I think we discussed this a little bit maybe last time, to clarify the position of, that Ms. Edmonds presently holds is a non-classified civil service, and I spoke with the general counsel for civil service who recommended, because of the fact that we share her with another board and that she is actually performance-oriented as opposed to hourly employee, that we put this down in writing. What we had for this board at the time was her proposal that was made originally when she first came on in 2009. And we were operating under that, but it was not formally written as an agreement. The council recommended we go ahead and do it as an agreement. Now, this is not technically like a professional services contract like I have. This is an agreement party that sets forth what her obligations are to the board, what the board's obligations are to her. So I drew up the document which is included in there, as well as we do have the job description.
Everybody have one of those?
And everybody should have that also.
One page.
It's one page, that's correct. Plus the contract, which is 2. And our agreement, which is 2. So the statute refers to the position of executive secretary, the civil service refers to the position of executive assistant. So that's why you have both in here, to make sure we're talking about the same situation.
The statute, which is, I'm assuming,
The auctioneer statute.
Oh, first so.
okay, all right, and then the civil service is
The
executive.
position is referred to as executive assistant.
Okay. Okay, and this is a proposal that you put together on behalf of the state. What happened to the original?
Proposal's
It's not a
still in place.
proposal, it's an agreement.
Yeah, the proposal's still in place. That's what we've been abiding under. This simply puts it into a formal status.
Something happened where we had to do this, something?
Well, we had some requests for things, basically such as, I think you made a request, or Mr. Burns did, for leave slips, for example. She's not required to have leave slips as a non-classified civil service. So we want to make sure that was in writing and that everybody was understood that she has a different status than regular civil service.
Okay. What about any conflicting interests between the time spent with this board versus the other board or telecommuting and anything else that goes along?
Well, basically, she's going to execute a similar contract or similar agreement with that board also, and it recognizes the relationship in the agreement between the parties as far as obligations with regard to any leave time, to any other information between the two. But because it's performance oriented as opposed to hourly, that eliminates the conflict. Or, you know, as long as you're accomplishing all the duties that are expressed as part of the job description, which is included and incorporated into the agreement.
So,
Then on both parties, then there's no need to actually have hours accounted for. If she's not performing what's on the job description satisfactory to the board's behalf, then that would be, you know, basically a violation of the agreement, and that would give grounds for the board to
are there any, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Are there any specifications as far as the time, hours? Because we have nothing still.
What I'm saying is that would not be required with this, because it's performance oriented. In other words, if she answers the phone, if she answers the email, if she takes care of the, basically, the correspondence, etc., if she deals with both board meetings, if she takes care of the minutes, all of the things that are expressed in the job description, you don't have to account for hours.
Okay, what about telecommuting from the division administration?
Telecommunicating for the division administrator, what are you talking about?
As far as, you know, certain things that, you know, that cannot be done based on the DOA's specifications as far as telecommuting, as far as having,
Be specific, right?
the child,
Username.
the child in the office, bring the child to work, things like that.
There's a division administration reference on that?
Yeah, I got caught in traffic, but I have, the copies of it, but it's in my other car, so I had to get my daughter to come and get me and bring me her. That's why I was running late.
Okay.
I was under road construction, so I just.
I'm still confused. What are you getting at? Can you just
Well, no, I
clear
just
it up for me?
the division administration has a policy in place concerning telecommuting. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I don't even know what that is, what are you talking about?
Well, that's about various activities that go on, having, a child in the office and things like that, or taking care of certain individuals. And I brought a copy for everyone, but like I said, it's in my car, so I'm not able to present it to the board, but I have the DOA's Business Administration policy. As relates to that, I think that we need to consider that also and implement that into whatever we're about to do here as well.
I'm not aware of anything like that.
I
I'm
mean,
not sure.
what are you trying to, what's your point? What outcome are you trying to get to? I'm
It's
still
not an
confused.
outcome, it's just about
What are you saying?
more so protecting the office and also protecting.
Protecting them from what? She's doing a great,
We're
incredible
not
job.
talking about what she's doing.
She's doing a great job.
We're talking about policy and procedures that DOA says cannot happen. Now, for its lead and those things like that, she's accruing that and she's not using that. That's something that we also have to look at.
Yeah, and that's addressed in the agreement.
But she
Did you
hasn't
read
done
the
so.
agreement, Freddie? Did you read it?
I'm gonna read it, and I just got it. What we need to do is really look
Freddie,
into
maybe
it.
you should get here a little bit early and read all.
Well, no, maybe it should be sent to me so that I can have the time to read it. Because normally, if it's
Well,
something on
you're
the
late every
agenda,
meeting.
if something's on the agenda, I normally request the information prior to, and I haven't been able to get it. So this was something that was on the agenda. I called and asked about it. So she was aware of it, that I was asking for the information. So it's not like I don't ask for things.
Oh, no, we know.
Okay, so I just get it when I come to the meeting. So I don't have the time to look over it or look at it or anything else to look at the pendings on it. So that's why, when she said that, and I called her. So, it's not like I hadn't done what I normally do is typically request information. But there are certain guidelines for DOA that need to be complied with. There are certain guidelines that relate to food and things of that issue that has to also be applied. And it is not being done. And prior to you all introducing this particular item or agreement, it hadn't been done. So I have some concerns about that as well.
Well, the proposal was put in place, which accomplished all of it. It did not specify with regard to leave, and I want to clarify that with this agreement. I'm not aware of what you're talking about or any DOA requirements or policies with regard to that. I was dealing primarily with civil service, which determines for state employees how their position and how they are to be treated with regard to benefits, etc. Because she's not classified, she does not get the benefits of a classified position, but she also doesn't have to comply with other things that are, required of other classified civil service employees.
So if the Business Administration has a policy in place concerning something, it doesn't fall under her jurisdiction as a non-classified?
It depends on what it is. Division administration normally deals with basically, for example, your mileage, et cetera, and how that is handled and other things. So I don't know. It may have something I'm not aware of.
I can have it, my wife may be at home, my car may be there now, because I can have a fax it over. I have some concerns about that, and like I said, I asked for this information, so I don't have to get here early when I asked for it several days before I got here, and I didn't get anything till I walked in the office, and that's typically what happens when I request information. I have to wait till I get here or some later date to get it. And that's the problem that I have, that every meeting we've had, if something hits the agenda, and I'm not familiar with it, I request the information so that I can become familiar. And every meeting that this happens, I never get the information, so I can't really deal with the issue at hand because I haven't looked over it.
Well, everybody gets the same information when they show up at the meeting.
But correct, but I call ahead of time,
So,
requesting.
why?
Well, no, I have a right to
For
call
you
if
than
it's
anybody
something
else.
that's unfamiliar.
Well,
Well,
it's
everybody
all
else.
unfamiliar. It's unfamiliar with these other.
Correct, but if I
also.
would have had a chance to look at it, then I could be adequately able to say yea or nay concerning what's on this particular item.
Question for you, Anna. So do we just need to,
Make
make-
a
Well, we can't do anything until we
Freddie, I'm
clarify
asking a
something.
question.
We can make a motion.
Hold on.
Freddie, I'm asking a question.
I got something to say. I can tell you one thing for sure, without a doubt, that the work is done more than promptly, way ahead of time, every time. Now, what you're saying, what you brought up, there could be some truth to that. I don't know, but that's something that'll have to be looked into, okay? But as far as her performance, her job performance way exceeds, I tell you what, I wish I had two of her at my place of business. And that's the bottom line. Now, if anything's being done wrong, There's nobody doing it intentionally. It's like, you know, being accused of it all the time.
Well, that's
So-
no accusation.
So here's the,
being
I'm
made,
talking
Mr.
about now. So here's the thing. So we're gonna look into it. We're gonna find out.
Okay.
And we're gonna check into it and see. That's all we can do.
Well,
I'd
that's what I
like
asked
to
for.
make a motion that we accept the written proposal
Well-
as it is.
Would you know what it say?
I
Have you
second
read
it.
I read, I came here an hour early and I read up on
Okay,
everything.
so everybody else got it?
Everybody
Does
else was
everybody have a
here
chance to
early.
read it on the board?
Yes, I came in.
I came in early and I read it and
Mr.
I,
Love?
What? Yeah, I read it.
yeah.
Okay,
let me
so
say
when I
this.
requested it.
What you're
I
talking
couldn't
about would
get
have no
information.
impact on this particular item.
Well, yes, it does, in particular, is that, you know, there's no specified time that, listen to me, there's no specified time that this office is open. There's no specified time that anybody can come up here and find, it's not been posted on the website relating to this office being open. And anything else that's pertinent to the public, being aware of what's going on inside this office. So, you know, if you're gonna get a voicemail every time you call, or you have to say, I'll call you back or something like that, that's not adequate enough for the general public, especially for me, that the office is not open. At some specified time, there needs to be a set time where the general public can be aware of, if they want somebody in this office, if they want to find someone here, the office needs to be open for that purpose. But we don't have,
And
we don't
this
have
is-
anything.
And this does not address that. That is part of what her duties would be, that the board can tell her what to do. This simply says that she has to do what the board says. It doesn't address anything about when the office is open, when it has to be open, when the phone calls have to be answered or emails. This simply says, and it says that she will perform adequately those duties expressed in the job description according to what the board says she must do. And that's
Okay.
part of her obligation.
So if she's in Miami, Florida, if she answers the phone, that's a part of her job. And so,
Yes, part of her job, right.
okay, so wherever she is, and that's what I'm saying.
Right,
But
that's
there,
what we did.
there's no guidelines between what she's doing here, what she's doing there, whether they're crossing, whether or not the time that she spends.
Yes, that's what this is.
But prior to that, we had nothing
Yeah,
in
we-
writing,
We actually had a proposal,
Yeah,
right now we
proposal.
have this.
but not in writing that specified whether or not her time was conflicting with what she was doing there, or what she, when she gets to a maximum
Let me
here.
ask you a question. What is what's the conflict with you?
I've always been a proponent of this office being open and this office having someone here.
How
Yeah.
much public do you think comes by? It's
I
not
don't
just
know,
work.
but I know when Ms. Wilkes was in here, the office was open. And you could find someone here, and that phone was answered. And that's what I'm saying. So for the general public who may desire to come by here and come here and not find someone here, I think we need to give a lot more consideration to at least specifying things that will not conflict what she does for her other board as what she does with this board, and so forth and so on. And I think that's something that this board needs to take into consideration and be a lot more.
So in other words, you want somebody full-time?
Well,
That's what you want?
well, not so much as full time, but it's somebody that's gonna be here where the general public can come and find someone off. There's not many offices, and I went, that operates like this office does. In any commission, there's somebody answering the phone, there's somebody there where you can go and find an office open. This office and the interior design board and maybe one other one, kinda, but not as bad as this one, but principally, this office does not have set time when anybody can come here. That's not the case across any commission or board in the state of
Well, all they
Louisiana.
gotta do is pick up the phone, call office, and call her.
But we don't have anything posted, the website doesn't specify
She's not a
anything.
full-time employee, Craig.
But this
Okay.
office has to operate to meet the needs of the general public.
That's
And
fine.
that's
I think we're exceeding, I think we're doing that.
Are y'all getting any complaints?
I've heard nothing.
Well,
but-
yes, we have.
I've heard nothing but.
I haven't gotten
We've gotten
any
some
complaints.
complaints,
Who has?
and we need to know about
Okay,
it.
Who's got
No,
complaints?
Ms. Evans sitting right there.
What's the point?
So we haven't had any complaints about the office hours.
No.
I haven't heard anything from anybody.
You haven't heard anything, nobody's called and said that, you know, when there's a set
The only
time.
person, and we discussed it at the last board meeting, was when Oakview came to drop off their
So
renewal.
we've had some complaints, and how many people who may have not.
Well, let her finish, let her
Okay.
finish, you need to give her the same consideration she gave you.
I don't care to have this discussion. It's the board's decision, not mine, so.
Well, I exercise my right as a board member and I'm